Chapter 3, Learning to Drive. This chapter provides information that will help you become a safe driver. The topics we will cover include choosing safety first, driver factors, everyday driving skills, and special circumstances and emergencies. Choosing safety first. You have important choices to make, sometimes even before you start your vehicle, that will affect your safety when you're behind the wheel. Begin by making sure you and your vehicle are fit to drive by following these preparing to drive vehicle checks.
Number 1, tire safety. Tires are an important part of driving safely. Be sure your tires have adequate tread and air pressure prior to driving your car. Prior to entering the vehicle, check tire pressure using the recommended PSI, pounds per square inch, located in the vehicle owner's manual or the driver's side door jamb of the vehicle. Use a tire pressure gauge to check your PSI. If your PSI is above the number listed on your door jamb, let air out until it matches. If below, add air, or have a tire professional help you until it reaches the proper number. You may also measure tread depth using the penny test. Once every month, or before you embark upon a long road trip, check your tires for wear and damage problems. One easy way to check for wear is by using the penny test. First, hold a penny so that Abraham Lincoln is between your thumb and forefinger. Next, select a point on your tire where the tread appears to be lowest and place Lincoln's head into one of the grooves. If any part of Lincoln's head is covered by the tread, you're driving with a safe amount of tread. If your tread gets below that, your car's ability to grip the road in adverse conditions is greatly reduced.
Number 2, adjust the driver's seat. You must be able to easily reach the pedals and other controls and have a clear view out the windshield. Your owner's manual provides information about how to adjust your vehicle's equipment.
Number 3,
fasten your seatbelt. Fasten both your lap and shoulder belts on every trip. Pay attention to the information about Pennsylvania's seatbelt law, child restraint law, and airbag safety information found in Chapter 5. Did you know that in 2011, 78% of people involved in crashes in Pennsylvania were wearing seatbelts? Drivers ages 16 to 24 had both the highest number of unbuckled injuries and fatalities of any age group and the lowest seatbelt use. Don't become part of this statistic. Wearing your seatbelt is the single most effective thing you can do to reduce the risk of death or injury.
Number 4,
secure loose items in the passenger compartment. In a crash, loose items in your vehicle become projectiles that continue to travel the same speed your vehicle was moving before the impact. Put heavier objects, such as backpacks, luggage, and tools in your trunk whenever possible, or secure them with the vehicle's seatbelts. Never store items on the rear window deck.
Number 5,
adjust the rear view and side mirrors. To remove blind spots around your vehicle, the rear view and side mirrors may have to be adjusted differently for each driver. The rear view mirror should be set so you can see the traffic directly behind your vehicle. The side mirrors should be set so when you lean left or right, you can just barely see the side of your vehicle. Set the mirrors after you adjust your seat. Please note that it is against the law to have any object or material hanging from the rear view mirror while moving. You may not hang, place, or attach anything to the rear view mirror that might block or impair vision through the front windshield. Tags, permits, and placards may only be attached to the rear view mirror when the vehicle is parked.
Number 6,
don't block the windshield. It is against the law to place anything on the front windshield that blocks a driver's view of the roadway.
Number 7,
adjust ventilation. You should maintain a constant supply of fresh air in your vehicle. This helps you stay alert and guards against carbon monoxide or exhaust gas poisoning when you drive. Listen to Chapter 6 for more information about carbon monoxide poisoning.
Number 8,
adjust head restraints. A head restraint that properly cushions the back of your head can prevent or reduce the severity of neck injuries in a crash. Adjust your head restraint so the top of the head restraint is at least as high as the top of your ears. Check your car owner's manual for instructions.
Number 9,
wear your prescription glasses or contact lenses. If you normally wear corrective lenses, always wear them while driving. Do not wear sunglasses or tinted contact lenses at night.
And finally, number 10,
lock your doors. Locking your doors and wearing your seatbelt will help to ensure you will not be thrown from your vehicle in a crash. Being thrown from a vehicle increases your chances of death by 75%. Locking your doors will also reduce the likelihood of being carjacked or otherwise victimized when you stop at an intersection or pull into a parking lot. Your vehicle may be ready to go, but your safety depends just as much on driver factors, such as inattention due to driving distractions or lack of sleep, health conditions, and driving under the influence of alcohol. Did you know that driver distraction and inattention to road and traffic conditions are responsible for 25 to 30% of police-reported traffic crashes? That adds up to approximately 1.2 million crashes every year. Driving distractions. Anything that causes you to take your attention away from driving, take your eyes off the road, or take your hands off the wheel is a distraction. You will not be able to react as quickly if you are eating, drinking, and smoking. These distractions all create safety problems because they often require you to take your hands off the wheel and take your eyes off the road. Drivers who eat or drink while driving have trouble controlling their vehicle, staying in their lane, and have to brake more often. Adjusting audio devices such as the radio, cassette, CD, iPod, or MP3 player. You are permitted to wear headphones or earpieces only in one ear for communication purposes. Talking on a cell phone, whether it is hands-free or not. Listen to this. Research has found that a normal, undistracted driver fails to notice an important road event such as another driver making a mistake 3% of the time. An adult dialing a cell phone misses the same event 13% of the time. A teenager dialing a cell phone misses it 53% of the time. Interacting with other passengers can be just as much of a distraction, particularly for teenage drivers. If you are a teen driver with other teens as passengers, statistics show you are more likely to have a crash than if you are driving alone or are driving with adult passengers. Searching for or moving an object in the vehicle. Reading, writing, or texting. Combing hair, applying makeup, or any other personal grooming. Rubbernecking, or turning to look when passing a crash scene or a work zone. Looking at people, objects, or events happening off of the roadway. Lack of sleep. When you're tired, you react slower. Your judgment and your vision are impaired, and you have problems with understanding and remembering things. Driving while fatigued has similar effects as driving under the influence of alcohol. Being awake for 18 hours impairs your driving about as much as a blood alcohol level of 0.05%. Being awake for 24 hours impairs your driving as much as having a blood alcohol level of 0.10%. If you are tired enough, you may fall asleep and never even know it. Sleeping behind the wheel for even a few seconds is enough to kill you. Teens who sleep less than 8 hours a night are at increased risk for vehicle crashes. The best thing to do if you begin to feel tired while driving is to stop driving. Listen to these facts. Every year across the U.S., falling asleep while driving causes at least 100,000 crashes. 1,500 people die and 40,000 are injured in these crashes. Of the 100,000 vehicle crashes linked to drowsy driving each year, almost half involve drivers between 15 and 24 years of age. Health factors. Your driving safety can be affected by problems with vision, hearing, or medical conditions. Have your vision checked every 1 or 2 years. Your peripheral or side vision, your distance judgment, and your ability to see in low light conditions can deteriorate due to disease and as a normal part of the aging process. You will not always know that this is happening and be able to take corrective action unless your vision is examined regularly. If you need to wear glasses or contacts, make sure you use them every time you drive. Hearing can warn you of dangers you do not see, like another vehicle in your blind spot. Hearing is also important to let you know an emergency vehicle, such as a police, fire truck, or ambulance, is approaching, or to detect a train at a railroad crossing. Various diseases and medical conditions, even little problems like a stiff neck or sore knee, can have a serious impact on your ability to control your vehicle effectively. The most dangerous health problems include seizure disorders that cause loss of consciousness, diabetes, and heart conditions. In Pennsylvania, physicians must report to PennDOT individuals whom they have diagnosed as having a condition that could impair their ability to drive safely. Alcohol and driving. In Pennsylvania and across the nation, drinking drivers are responsible for thousands of traffic deaths and injuries. Approximately 40% of all traffic deaths involve drinking. Did you know that in the U.S., one person dies every half hour and one person is injured every 2 minutes because someone was drinking and driving? Don't be that driver. Recent Pennsylvania statistics show that 30% of drivers ages 16 to 20 who died in motor vehicle crashes had been drinking. This is despite the fact that here in Pennsylvania, as well as in every other state in the U.S., there are zero tolerance laws, meaning you may not drink if you are under age 21. Here are some more important facts to know about alcohol and driving. If you are a driver under age 21 and your blood alcohol concentration is 0.02% or more, you are considered to be driving under the influence, or DUI. Even the smallest amount of alcohol will reduce your concentration, perception, judgment, and memory, and your driving skills will suffer. No one can drink and drive safely. As alcohol builds up in your blood, your driving errors will increase. Your vision and judgment will be affected. Your reactions will slow down, and you will lose your ability to control your vehicle safely and effectively. And at the same time, alcohol robs your skills. It makes you feel dangerously confident. So, drinking drivers can be out of control and not even know it. Many people believe only heavy drinking is risky. This is not true. Even drivers whose blood alcohol level is 0.04, or half of the legal limit of 0.08% for an adult 21 years of age or older, are between 2 and 7 times more likely to be involved in a crash than drivers who have no alcohol in their blood. Even if your blood alcohol level is well below the legal limit, you will still endanger your life and the lives of others. The only safe amount of alcohol you can drink and then drive is 0. Alcohol affects individuals differently. Your blood alcohol level is affected by your age, weight, gender, physical condition, amount of food consumed, and any drugs or medications you have in your system. In addition, different drinks may contain different amounts of alcohol. Make sure you know how much alcohol is in the drinks you consume. You should consider one drink to be 1.5 ounces of 80 proof liquor, 12 ounces of regular beer, or 5 ounces of wine. To manage your drinking responsibly, do not drink more than 1 drink per hour if you are of legal drinking age. It takes a person of average weight at least 1 hour to process the alcohol in every drink. More than 1 drink per hour is very likely to push your blood alcohol level over the legal limit. The 1 drink per hour rule does not work for everybody, though. Alcohol is more concentrated in smaller people, and because of the differences in the way our bodies process alcohol, a woman drinking an equal amount in the same period of time as a man of the same weight may have a higher blood alcohol level. Did you know that a female who weighs 110 pounds will have a blood alcohol concentration of 0.03 after drinking just 8 ounces of light beer? That's less than 1 full bottle or can. A 140-pound male will have a blood alcohol concentration of 0.025 after a full 12-ounce bottle or can of light beer. Only time will sober you up. You cannot reduce your blood alcohol concentration level by drinking coffee or other caffeinated beverages or by taking a cold shower. Play it safe. Do not drive after drinking any amount of alcohol and keep the drinker from driving. Listen to Chapter 4 for more information about the penalties for underage drinking and driving under the influence. Drugs and driving. Drugs other than alcohol are involved in approximately 20% of deaths among motorists each year. Whether they are illegal, prescription, or over-the-counter, drugs affect your brain function and can seriously impair your ability to drive safely. Combining drugs and alcohol will increase the risk of causing a crash. Everyday driving skills. This section begins by highlighting the particular causes of crashes and major crash types among new drivers in Pennsylvania. The safe driving skills described in this section include managing space, managing speed, turning, merging, and passing, negotiating intersections, negotiating curves, and negotiating highways and interchanges. Most crashes result from human error. Either the driver fails to understand how to use the vehicle or the highway system, is not paying enough attention to signs, signals, pavement markings, or the actions of other drivers, or makes poor decisions. Drivers with less than 5 years of experience are most likely to make errors that lead to crashes. In 2011, 1 out of 10 16-year-old drivers were in reportable crashes. A list of the top 10 reasons 16 and 17-year-old new drivers in Pennsylvania ended up in crashes in 2009 is shown below. All drivers should be aware of these critical factors. Driving too fast for conditions, proceeding without clearance after stopping, improper or careless turning, improper driving, inexperience, tailgating, speeding, over or under compensating at a curve, distractions, sudden slowing or stopping. The major types of crashes in which 16 and 17-year-old drivers in Pennsylvania are involved include hitting a stationary object, crashes where roads intersect, like driveways, entrance ramps, and in intersections, rear-end collisions, and head-on collisions. About 92% of all crashes and 93% of the deaths resulting from crashes are associated with just these 4 crash types. Avoiding vehicle crashes depends on learning and applying the safe driving skills that are the subject of this chapter. Managing the space around you is an important safe driving skill. For example, if another driver near you makes a mistake, you will need time to react to the situation. The only way to be sure you'll have enough time to react is to leave plenty of space between you and the vehicles around you. There are 6 areas of space around your vehicle that you must be able to manage. Visualize a grid surrounding your vehicle with Area 1 directly in front of you, Area 2 to your left front, Area 3 to your right front, Area 4 left rear, Area 5 right rear, and Area 6 directly behind you. It's best to keep a space cushion on all sides of your vehicle. We call it the 4-second rule. 4 seconds is a safe following distance. It will allow you to steer or brake to safely avoid a hazard on the highway if the pavement is dry. If you are following too closely and the vehicle ahead of you stops or slows suddenly, you will not be able to avoid the crash. Keeping a safe following distance will enable you to react to a problem ahead without the need for a panic stop, which could cause a following driver to crash into the back of your vehicle. To determine your following distance, watch the rear bumper of the vehicle ahead of you. When the bumper passes a road marking or a roadside object like a telephone pole, start counting how many seconds it takes you to reach the same spot on the road. If you pass the marking or object in less than 4 seconds, you are following too closely. Sometimes you will need extra space ahead of you. Allow a longer following distance than usual when traveling on roads that are wet and slippery or not paved. There is less traction and it will take longer to stop. The driver behind you wants to pass because there must be room ahead of you for the passing driver to pull in front of you. You are following a driver whose rear view is blocked. For example, drivers of trucks, buses, vans, or cars pulling campers or trailers may slow down suddenly without knowing you're behind them. You're following a large vehicle which is blocking your view ahead. You need extra room to see around the vehicle. You're following a driver who is carrying a heavy load or pulling a trailer because the extra weight will make it more difficult for them to stop. Approaching slow-moving vehicles, including bicycles. You are following school buses, taxis, public and private buses, or trucks transporting hazardous substances. These vehicles must stop at railroad crossings and make other unexpected stops. You are driving downhill. It is harder for your brakes to slow your vehicle, especially at high speeds. You are stopped on an uphill because the vehicle ahead may roll back into your vehicle when traffic begins to move. Similarly, keeping a space cushion to the sides is important. A space cushion to the sides, such as an Area 2 to the left front and Area 3 to the right front of your vehicle, will give you room to react if another vehicle suddenly moves into your lane. These areas are your potential escape paths. Key points to remember. Avoid driving alongside other vehicles on multi-lane streets. They block your view and close your escape route, and you're probably in their blind spot. Keep as much space as possible between the side of your vehicle and oncoming vehicles. Make room for vehicles entering highways by signaling and moving to an inside lane if it is safe. Keep space between your vehicle and parked vehicles. Someone may open a vehicle door or step out between parked vehicles, or a vehicle may pull out suddenly. If you do not have at least 8 feet of space on at least one side of your vehicle to use as an escape path, You will need to allow more space to the front by increasing your following distance. You will usually drive in the center of your lane, but sometimes you will find dangers on both sides of the road. Sometimes there may be parked vehicles to your right and oncoming vehicles to your left. If this is the case, the best thing to do is to slow down and split the difference by steering a middle course between the oncoming vehicles and the parked vehicles. Keeping a space cushion behind you is important. Area 6 is the space directly behind you. Although a driver who is following you has more control over the clear space than you do, you can help by keeping a steady speed and signaling before you have to slow down for a turn. If you see someone following you too closely, this is called tailgating. Move over to the right lane if possible. If there is no right lane, you can encourage the tailgater to move around you by waiting until the road ahead is clear, then tapping your brakes gently to slowly reduce your speed. Also, look for an escape path to the side when you are preparing to slow down or stop. Finally, pay attention to what is happening in Area 4, the left rear of your vehicle, and Area 5, the right rear of your vehicle. You need to know how close other vehicles are to your vehicle and how fast they are traveling. These areas are blind spots. Always check them by turning your head before changing lanes. Similarly, keep your vehicle where it can be seen by avoiding driving your vehicle in another driver's blind spot. A blind spot is any place around a vehicle that drivers can't see without moving their heads. To avoid this, avoid driving on either side and slightly to the rear of another vehicle for a long time. Both positions are blind spots for the other driver. Either speed up or drop back to move out of the driver's blind spot. When passing another vehicle, get past the other driver's blind spot as quickly and as safely as you can. The longer you stay in the blind spot, the longer you are both in danger. Always look ahead so you can react to things early and avoid last-minute moves. You should be able to identify problem situations 12 to 15 seconds ahead, which is about 1 block in the city or a quarter of a mile at highway speeds. Your ability to handle dangerous traffic situations depends largely on searching for and identifying problems far ahead. Looking far ahead does not mean you should simply stare at the center of the road. You need to continually scan the entire road, including the sides of the road. As you scan the driving scene, watch for vehicles and people that enter the road ahead of you and may be moving much slower. A vehicle that has slowed or stopped ahead, waiting for traffic to clear before making a turn. Signs warning of danger ahead, and signs telling you about places ahead or giving you information about how to reach them. Looking to the sides is especially important at intersections, driveways, shopping center entrances and exits, and highway entrances and exits, any place where one stream of traffic meets another. When you come to an intersection, follow the left, right, left rule. Look to the left first because vehicles coming from the left are closer to you. Look to the right. Look to the left again before you pull out. You may see a vehicle you did not see the first time you looked. When you enter the intersection, look left and right again. Do not assume other traffic will always stop, even when there is a stop sign or signal. If your view of the cross street is blocked by buildings, shrubs, or parked vehicles, move forward slowly until you can see clearly. You must also check traffic behind you as often as possible. Looking behind you is very important when you are planning to change lanes or back up. Changing lanes includes changing from one lane to another on a roadway, entering a highway from one entrance lane, entering the roadway from the curb or shoulder. Before you change lanes, give the proper turn signal. Look in your rear view and side mirrors and make sure no one is going to pass you. Do not depend on mirrors or sensors alone. Look over your left and right shoulders to make sure no one is in your vehicle's blind spots. Check these spots quickly. Do not take your eyes off of the road ahead for more than a second. On roads with 3 or more lanes, check all lanes before you make a lane change. Someone in another lane may also be planning to move into the same spot where you want to go. When backing up, always check behind your vehicle. Do it before you get in your vehicle. Children and small objects are hard to see from the driver's seat. Before backing up, turn your head so you can see through the rear view window. Do not depend on your mirrors or sensors alone. Managing speed is a critical safety skill, but knowing what speed is safe or how fast is too fast is not easy. No single speed is safe at all times. In addition to the posted speed limit, you must consider road conditions, visibility conditions, and the flow of other traffic. Also, when you plan to change speeds, communicating your intentions to other drivers will help you stay safe. Posted speed limits indicate the maximum safe driving speed under ideal road, traffic, and weather conditions. Here's a teen crash fact. Driving too fast for conditions is the #1 reason 16 and 17-year-old drivers are involved in crashes. The maximum speed limit in Pennsylvania is 70. The maximum speed limit on interstate highways is posted after each interchange. On other highways, the maximum speed limit is posted at approximately half-mile intervals. In school zones, the speed limit is 15 miles per hour when the lights on the school zone sign are flashing or during the time period indicated on signs. School zone speed limits are lower than other speed limits. When the road is wet or slippery, when you cannot see well, or when anything else makes conditions less than perfect, drive below the posted speed limit. Even if you were driving within the posted speed limit, you can still be ticketed for driving too fast for conditions.
Eco-driving. Safe driving does more than protect you. It saves you money and reduces air pollution. Operating a car involves many expenses, including gas, maintenance, and tires. Drivers and car owners can take a number of steps to minimize these expenses at no additional cost. Here are some smart driving habits to adopt. Number 1. Slow down. Fuel consumption increases about 5% for every 5 miles per hour driven above 60 miles per hour. Number 2. Ease up on the pedals. Rapid starts and hard stops can increase fuel usage by 40%, but reduce travel time by only 4%. Number 3. Drive cool. Avoid driving during the hottest parts of the day. Cooler, denser air can boost power and mileage. Number 4. Stay cool. Use your car's air conditioner when driving more than 40 miles per hour. Number 5. Drive to warm up. Even on the coldest days, it only takes 30 seconds to get your vehicle ready to drive. Number 6. Keep cruising. Get a 7% average fuel savings by using cruise control when driving on flat highways. Number 7. Follow the light. Once your vehicle's onboard diagnostics, or OBD light, turns on, it is possible that fuel economy is decreasing and emissions are increasing. If the OBD light comes on, talk with your auto dealer for more information. Number 8. Drive safely. Keep enough distance between you and other vehicles. Doing so not only protects you, it also prevents wear and tear on your vehicle. Number 9. Utilize your car. If your vehicle has an eco setting, use it. It will smooth out your gas pedal inputs, optimize transmission shift points, and decrease the impact of air conditioner on the engine. Number 10. Turn it off. Idling wastes fuel and may be prohibited. If you need to idle, shift to neutral or park so the engine is not working against your brake and consuming more fuel. Number 11. Drive less. There are multiple ways to reduce costs and save money by driving less. Take public transportation, bicycle or walk, or carpool. Additionally, combining errands saves time and gas. Number 12. Educate yourself. There are many resources available to get and stay educated about the best safe driving practices.
It's important for you to consider the added dangers of driving at night. The highest crash rates occur during nighttime hours. Most serious crashes occur in twilight or darkness. Overall, traffic fatality rates are 3 to 4 times higher at night than in daylight. Compared to driving in the day, driving at night is more dangerous for several reasons. Your vision is severely limited at night. Glare from other vehicles' headlights may temporarily blind you. More people who are tired or who are driving under the influence are likely to be on the road at night. With less light, your ability to judge distances is reduced, your ability to see colors is reduced, and your ability to see things in your side vision is reduced. As a driver, you must always be ready to react if you suddenly see something unexpected on the road ahead of you, a pedestrian, a bicyclist, an animal, and so on. You are much more likely to be surprised at night. Compared to signs and other roadside objects, pedestrians are hardest to see at night. You must use your headlights properly at night and other times as required by law. Headlights have a dual purpose, to help you see and to help you be seen. Clean your headlights at least once a week. Do it when you buy gas for your vehicle. Dirty headlights may give only half of the light they should. State law requires drivers to use their headlights when they cannot see because of insufficient light on gray days or in heavy traffic when their vehicle may seem to blend in with the surroundings. When there are unfavorable atmospheric conditions, including rain, snow, sleet, hail, fog, smoke, or smog. In bad weather, use only low beams. High beams actually reduce visibility under these conditions. When they cannot see pedestrians or vehicles on the highway for a distance of 1,000 feet ahead of the vehicle they are operating. Between sunset and sunrise. When driving through work zones. Anytime your vehicle's wipers are in continuous or intermittent use due to weather conditions. Daytime running lights are not enough. Your taillights must be illuminated as well. Other important safety information about headlights and nighttime driving include the following. When driving at night, use low beams as soon as you see an other vehicle approaching in the oncoming lane, as high beams can blind the other driver. Pennsylvania law requires you use low beams whenever you are within 500 feet of an oncoming vehicle and when you are following a vehicle within 300 feet. If a vehicle using high beams comes towards you, flash your high beams quickly a few times. If the driver does not dim the lights, look toward the right side of the road. This will keep you from being blinded by the other vehicle's headlights and will allow you to see well enough to stay on your course until the vehicle passes. Do not try to punish the other driver by keeping your brights on. If you do, both of you may be blinded. If glare from a following vehicle's headlights is uncomfortable because it is reflecting your rearview mirror, you can switch the inside rearview mirror from its daytime to nighttime setting. Do not overdrive your headlights by driving so fast you would not be able to stop in time to avoid a hazard that appears within the length of road ahead, lit by your headlights. Low beam headlights shine only about 250 feet ahead. Even on dry pavement, it takes more than 250 feet to stop if you're moving at 55 miles per hour. To avoid overdriving your headlights on a dark road at night, you should not drive faster than 45 miles per hour. Your ability to stop is greatly affected by the condition of the road. You need to reduce your speed when road conditions are poor so you can maintain control of your vehicle. You will be at greatest risk if you drive too fast on roads that are slippery, especially on curves. Take turns and curves more slowly when the road is slippery. Here are a few things to watch out for. Wet pavements. All roads are slippery when wet, but be extra careful on roads posted with warning signs that say, "slippery when wet." Pavements can become very slippery in the first 10 to 15 minutes of a rainstorm. The rain causes oil in the asphalt to come to the surface. This problem becomes even worse during hot weather, when the heat, combined with the water, causes more oil to rise to the road surface. In cold, wet weather, be extra careful driving on sections of road shaded by trees or buildings. These areas freeze more quickly and dry last. Hydroplaning. At excessive speeds, your vehicle can begin to hydroplane on a wet roadway. Hydroplaning happens when your tires lose their grip on the road and ride like skis on a film of water. The faster you drive on a wet roadway, the less effective your tires become at wiping the water from the road. You can hydroplane at speeds as low as 35 miles per hour when water is only 1/10 of an inch deep. Worn tires make this problem worse. Hydroplaning can be reduced by driving slower. If you find yourself hydroplaning, do the following. Keep both hands on the steering wheel. Slowly take your foot off the gas pedal to let your vehicle slow down. Do not slam on the brakes or try to turn suddenly because this will cause your vehicle to skid. As your vehicle slows down, the amount of tire tread touching the road will increase and you'll begin to get better traction. Turn slowly and only as much as necessary to keep your vehicle on the road. If you have to use your brakes, brake gently. Listen later in this chapter for important information on if you have to brake suddenly, which discusses using conventional versus anti-lock brakes in emergency stops. Snow and ice. When driving on snow or ice, you will need to adjust your driving to accommodate any situation. The traction of your tires on the road will be greatly reduced, seriously affecting your steering and braking ability. Also, it is extremely dangerous near 32 degrees Fahrenheit when precipitation turns to rain or sleet because a thin layer of water on top of ice is more slippery than ice alone. Watch for black ice, a condition occurring on clear roadways when a thin layer of ice forms due to dropping temperatures. When the road looks wet but no spray is coming from the tires of other vehicles, black ice may be present. Under a July 10, 2006 law, motorists will face severe fines if snow or ice that falls from their vehicle causes injury or death to other motorists or pedestrians. When snow or ice is dislodged or falls from a moving vehicle and strikes another vehicle or pedestrian causing death or serious bodily injury, the operator of the vehicle from which the snow or ice came is subject to a fine of $200 to $1,000 for each offense. PennDOT urges motorists to remove all ice and snow from their vehicles before traveling. When roads get slick, you should reduce your speed by 5 to 10 miles per hour on wet roads and increase your following distance to 5 or 6 seconds. On ice or snow-covered roads, you need to slow down even more. On packed snow, decrease your speed by half. On ice, slow to a crawl. Leave about 10 times more space than normal between you and the vehicle ahead. Apply brakes gently. Ease off if you start to skid, and reapply when you gain control. Listen later in this chapter for important information on if you have to brake suddenly, which discusses using conventional versus anti-lock brakes in emergency stops. Do not use your cruise control when driving on slippery roads. Snow, ice, slush, and rain can cause wheel spin and loss of control. The only way to stop wheel spin and regain control is to reduce power. An activated cruise control system will continue to apply power, keeping your wheels spinning. Adjust your speed to avoid meeting other vehicles at slippery areas, such as shady spots and frost on bridges during cold weather. This slower speed will reduce the risk of skidding into the other vehicle. On icy or snow-packed roads, try to time your arrival at an intersection by letting your vehicle coast until the light turns green and vehicles ahead of you have begun to move. This way, you will not have to brake to stop and then accelerate to begin again. Also, when going uphill, stay far enough behind the vehicle ahead so you will not need to slow down or stop. Before starting downhill, shift to a lower gear for better control. In addition to nighttime, fog and snow are conditions that reduce visibility and can dramatically decrease your ability to see ahead, making it more difficult to respond quickly and safely to events happening around you. Fog is probably the most dangerous driving environment. You cannot see what you are about to hit, and others cannot see you either. Do not start a trip if the fog is so dense you cannot see. If you get caught in dense fog, it's best to pull completely off the road, preferably into a parking lot, to wait until the fog clears. While parked, turn your hazard lights on to make your vehicle more visible, and keep your seatbelt fastened. When you must drive in foggy conditions, always remember to do these 2 things. Slow down enough so you can stop safely within the distance you can see. You will need to carefully check your speedometer because fog takes away most of the visual information that lets you know how fast you're going, making it easy for you to speed up without being aware of it. Turn on your low-beam headlights and fog lights if your vehicle has them, so others can see you. Do this whether it is daytime or nighttime. Do not use your high beams. They direct their light up and into the fog, which bounces the light back into your eyes, creating glare and making it even harder for you to see ahead. Snow can also severely limit your visibility. To increase your ability to see when driving in snowing conditions, do these 6 things. 1. Clear all windows, hood, trunk, and roof of your vehicle before starting to drive in the snow. If you don't, snow will blow off of your vehicle and onto your windshield, blocking your view. It could also blow off and onto the windshield of a driver who is following you. If snow or ice from a moving vehicle strikes another vehicle or pedestrian causing death or serious bodily injury, the vehicle's driver could be fined. 2. Clear your headlights, taillights, and directional signals of snow, ice, and dirt. This helps other drivers see you and helps you see what is ahead. A dirty headlight reduces light output by more than 50%. 3. Let the engine warm up before you start driving to give the defroster a chance to warm the windshield and melt any ice you could not scrape off. 4. Make sure your windshield washer reservoir is full and you are using fluid that will not freeze. 5. Keep the defroster on to clear steamed windows. If you have a newer vehicle, your defroster may be part of your air conditioning system. Read your owner's manual to learn how your vehicle's defroster settings should be used. 6. Turn on your low beams, even during the daytime. This increases your visibility to other drivers. The Headlight and Windshield Wiper Law went into effect January 28, 2007. This law requires motorists to turn on their headlights anytime their vehicle's wipers are in continuous or intermittent use due to weather conditions. Daytime running lights are not enough. Your tail lights must be illuminated as well. Motorists who do not comply with the law may face a fine of $25, but with fees and other associated costs, the penalty could approach $100. Crashes often happen when some drivers go faster or slower than others on the road. Always try to drive with the flow of traffic within the posted speed limit. You may need to adjust your speed to maintain your space cushion, depending on what traffic is doing around you. For example, when traveling in a pack of vehicles on a highway, you will often find yourself traveling in someone's blind spot with no space cushion for emergencies. When this happens, reducing your speed by just 2 or 3 miles per hour will encourage traffic around you to clear out so you are no longer closed in. You may have to adjust a traffic flow if there are multiple potential hazards ahead. For example, with a bicyclist to your right, the safe thing to do is to move left to allow a wide margin when you pass. However, encountering an oncoming vehicle creates a problem because normally you would want to move to the right. You should handle this situation by facing only one traffic condition at a time. Slow down to let the oncoming vehicle pass. Then move left to pass the cyclist, leaving a sufficient amount of space, at least 4 feet, for safety. When you are approaching an emergency scene, police stop, or a tow truck picking up a disabled vehicle, you must move over so you are not in the lane next to them. If you cannot move over, you must slow to a careful speed. It's important to be prepared to react to slow-moving traffic. Watch out for vehicles that have trouble keeping up with the flow of other traffic and those entering the roadway that will take longer to pick up speed. These vehicles include some large trucks, as well as farm equipment and horse-drawn vehicles. Trucks, especially on long or steep upgrades, typically use their flashers to alert other drivers they are moving slowly. In rural areas, an orange triangle is displayed on the back of farm tractors and horse-drawn vehicles designed to operate at 25 miles per hour or less, since this is a slower speed than traffic normally travels. In certain areas of Pennsylvania, it is not at all unusual to find yourself sharing the road with farm tractors and horse-drawn vehicles. Stay a safe distance back and do not honk to pass. Crashes often happen because one driver does something that another driver does not expect. To help avoid crashes, communicate your intentions to other drivers on the road. Let others know where you are and what you plan to do by any of the following methods. Signal when slowing down or stopping. Your brake lights will tell other drivers you are slowing down or stopping. If you are going to brake where other drivers may not expect it, quickly tap your brake pedal 3 or 4 times. If you must drive below 40 miles per hour on a limited access highway, use your 4-way hazard flashers to warn the drivers behind you. Signal when changing direction. Signaling tells others you want to make a turn, but it does not give you the right to make a turn. Under Pennsylvania law, you must always use your turn signals at least 100 feet before turning if you are driving less than 35 miles per hour. If you are driving 35 miles per hour or more, you must signal at least 300 feet before turning. If your vehicle's turn signals do not work, use left turn, right turn, and stop hand signals. Putting your left arm straight out the driver's side window with your pointer finger pointing left means you plan to turn left. Putting your left arm out the driver's side window and bending it up 90 degrees with your pointer finger pointing up means you plan to turn right. Putting your left arm out the driver's side window and bending it 90 degrees down with your hand pointing down and back means you plan to stop. Use emergency signals. If your vehicle breaks down on the highway, you will need to pull off the road. Signal, then carefully exit the roadway and put on your 4-way hazard flashers to warn other drivers. Get as far off the road as possible and park in a place where other drivers can see you easily. Lift your hood to let other drivers know your vehicle is disabled. Use your horn. Your horn instantly attracts the attention of other drivers. Use it when you think another driver or pedestrian does not see you. For example, if a child is beginning to run into the street, or if you think another vehicle is about to hit you. Also, if you lose control of your vehicle, alert other drivers by sounding your horn. This section of Chapter 3 focuses on turning, merging, and passing. You must concentrate on many factors when making a turn. Speed is probably the most important factor. When turning, reduce to a speed that allows you to maintain control of your vehicle, stay in your lane during the turn, and react to unexpected situations. Watch out for pedestrians and other traffic in the street you are turning onto. Many streets have signs, signals, or markings to guide you. Some signs show what lanes you can or must use for turns. To complete a turn safely, first, signal 3 to 4 seconds before your turn. Second, position your vehicle in the proper lane. Third, control your speed. And finally, complete your turn in the proper lane. Here is an important teen crash fact. Improper or careless turning is a common cause of crashes among new young drivers. In 2011, improper or careless turning was the cause of 640 crashes involving drivers aged 17 in Pennsylvania. On two-lane, two-way streets or highways, make left turns from as close to the center line as possible. Make right turns from as close to the right edge of the roadway as possible. On multi-lane streets and highways, start from the left lane to turn left. Start from the right lane to turn right. If you are turning onto a highway with more than one lane in the direction you wish to travel, turn into the closest lane going in that direction. Turn into the left lane when making a left turn and turn into the right lane when making a right turn. If you want to change to another lane, wait until after you have safely completed your turn. Turning from or into a center turn lane offers additional challenges. For example, if you see a lane in the middle of a two-way street marked on both sides by one solid outer line and one broken inner line, it means this lane may only be used for left turns. Drivers traveling in either direction must use this lane to begin their left turns, and drivers entering the road may also use this lane to end their left turn from a cross street before they enter the traffic stream. There are many possible traffic conflicts in this situation. When you enter the center lane to turn left into a driveway or cross street, you must watch for both oncoming vehicles in the center turn lane and vehicles on your left turning from driveways and cross streets into the center turn lane. When you are turning left from a driveway or cross street into a center lane, you must watch for through traffic coming from your left, as well as for drivers who are already in the center lane preparing to make a turn from either direction. Follow these 4 guidelines to safely use center turn lanes. 1. Put on your left turn signal at least 3 to 4 seconds before entering the left turn lane. 2. Do not get into the center turn lane too soon. The longer you drive in the center lane, the more likely you are to meet someone head-on coming from the other direction. 3. When you enter the center turn lane, enter it completely. Do not leave the back end of your vehicle sticking into the normal travel lane, blocking traffic. And 4. Turn only when it is safe. Look for vehicles coming towards you in the same lane, and make sure there is a big enough gap before you turn across the oncoming traffic. If entering the center lane from a cross street, watch for through traffic and for center lane traffic preparing to turn. U-turns are permitted only if they can be made without endangering other traffic. In choosing a place to make a U-turn, make sure drivers coming from all directions are at least 500 feet away from you, and they can see you clearly. U-turns are not allowed on curves or when you are approaching or nearing the crest of a hill. U-turns are also illegal at locations marked with the white directional sign that shows a black arrow in the shape of an upside-down letter U with a red circle and slash over it. Unless you see the black and white sign that says "No turn on red," you may turn right at a red light if traffic is clear. Before making the right turn, you must always stop first and yield to pedestrians and cross traffic. If you are turning from a one-way street onto another one-way street, you may also turn left on a red signal after stopping, if traffic is clear and there is no turn on red sign. This sign is typically placed beside the road on the near side of the intersection and close to the traffic signal on the far side of the intersection. Whenever you cross traffic, you need enough space to do it safely. The amount of space you need to cross traffic depends on the road, weather conditions, and oncoming traffic. Here's a list of things you should remember to cross traffic safely. It is safe to stop halfway across a street only when there is a turning lane provided in the center median, which is large enough to hold your entire vehicle. If you are crossing or turning, make sure there are no vehicles or pedestrians blocking your path. You do not want to be caught in the middle of an intersection with traffic coming toward you. Even if you have a green light, do not enter an intersection if there are vehicles blocking your way. Wait until you are sure you can clear the intersection before starting to cross it. Do not pull out in front of an approaching vehicle that has its turn signal on, assuming the driver wants to enter or cross that street. The driver may plan to turn into a street or a driveway just beyond you, may have changed their mind, or they may have forgotten to turn off their signal. This is especially true of motorcycles. Their signals may not turn themselves off. Wait until the other driver actually starts to turn before you go. Use extra caution when crossing traffic in areas with hills or curves where you cannot see or be seen as well. Merging with traffic also demands good driver judgment. Whether you are changing lanes on a highway or entering a highway from a ramp, you need enough space to move safely into the traffic stream. Entrance ramps for highways often have acceleration lanes. These lanes run beside main traffic lanes and should be long enough to allow you to accelerate to the speed of traffic before you enter the highway itself. These lanes also allow drivers on the highway to see you before you enter the road. It is illegal to pass a vehicle ahead of you in an acceleration lane. Follow these 3 steps to merge with traffic from an acceleration lane. First, put your turn signal on and look for an opening in traffic. Second, accelerate up to the speed of traffic. Third, merge into the opening in traffic. Passing is an important part of driving. If it is not done properly, passing can be very dangerous or even a fatal maneuver. In general, if there is enough clear road ahead of you to attempt to pass, you must look for signs and pavement markings that tell you when you can or cannot pass safely under normal driving conditions. We covered examples of these conditions in Chapter 2. Look ahead carefully before you start to pass and check for any dangers in the passing area, such as driveways from which a vehicle could enter the roadway during your passing maneuver. Look in your side and rear view mirrors and quickly check your blind spots to make sure there are no vehicles about to pass you when you start to pass. Before passing, make sure the passing lane is clear and give the proper turn signal to show you are going to change lanes. Signal early enough so others will know your plans in advance. After passing, signal your plan to return to your lane. Before you move back into the lane, make sure you can see both headlights on the front of the vehicle you passed in your rearview mirror. In addition, use the following guidelines to pass with safety. When passing, be extra careful in areas where vehicles or pedestrians might enter or cross the road. These places include crossroads and shopping center entrances and exits. Also, a driver turning onto the roadway and into the left lane will not expect to find you in that lane and may not even look. Passing on a 2-lane road requires good judgment to avoid a head-on collision because you must use a lane belonging to oncoming traffic. At 45 miles per hour, this translates into needing 1/4 of a mile of clear roadway to safely pass a slower vehicle. Further, you need to be going about 10 miles per hour faster than the vehicle you are passing. If there are other vehicles ahead of the vehicle you want to pass, you may pass them as well, but make sure you have a large enough space in front of that vehicle to move into before you begin your passing maneuver. It is most dangerous to pass at night because you cannot see as far ahead, and it is more difficult to accurately judge distances. If you can only see the headlights of an oncoming vehicle, you are likely to think it's farther away than it really is. To emphasize, here's a teen crash fact. Driving on the wrong side of the road is a frequent cause of crashes among 16 and 17-year-old drivers. From 2007 to 2009, there were 439 crashes and 59 people were killed. Passing on the right is permitted under certain conditions. For example, when the driver you are passing is making or signaling a left turn. However, you must stay on the berm or shoulder while you are passing. When driving on a roadway with 2 or more marked traffic lanes in each direction. You may not pass on the right if you are within 100 feet of or are crossing any intersection or a railroad grade crossing unless an official traffic control device says you may. You are within 100 feet of any bridge, elevated structure, or tunnel. You are approaching or are on a curve or a hilltop restricting your view of oncoming traffic. Or you are on the shoulder of a multi-lane highway. When you are negotiating intersections, remember that the law does not give anyone the right of way at intersections. It only says you must yield. Even when one driver is legally required to yield the right of way, if that driver fails to do so, other drivers are required to stop or yield the right of way to avoid a crash. Here's another teen crash fact. Intersections are places where teenage drivers have a high percentage of crashes. In over 1/3 of the crashes involving 16-year-old drivers in Pennsylvania, the teen driver was pulling out from a stop sign